So welcome everybody to Start Strong 2021. My name is Shae Sterrett, and I'm so excited to create this virtual summit for personal evolution. And we've heard from so many amazing speakers today, and I'm excited. We're going to be wrapping up the night with Dr. Lunide Louis out from San Diego. She does high performance habit rewiring. She has such an amazing story. I've done some social media posts on her, but I will be posting her website in the Facebook group. Definitely check her out. I've actually worked with her personally, and she does what's called this high performance habit rewiring, getting into the subconscious, looking at fears and limiting beliefs beyond what's just in the forefront of our mind, and how that's such a powerful tool to change those fears and limiting beliefs to bring new, more powerful habits into our lives. So she's going to speak so much more eloquently than I have. And I do just want to remind everybody that this presentation, this workshop is being recorded. So if you don't want to show up on websites or YouTube or podcasts, please go ahead and mute yourself, turn off your video. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Lunide Louis. And I'm going to let her take it away from here.
Oh, so lovely. I'm so excited to be here. I want to say hello, everyone, and happy Friday. I am, as Shae did a beautiful intro for me, I am Dr. Lewis, and I have been doing habit rewiring for several years now. And I have to tell you, as a psychologist, I needed a different tool than just talk therapy. Talk therapy was super exhausting because I just felt I waste a lot of time in and out of the clinic, just week after week, just talking and not really getting to the nitty gritty or the subconscious level, finding out what the issue is. Now, habit rewiring, what it does is looking at the subconscious level. So, not so much of what we do consciously because we are on autopilot. We operate out of this place 95% of the day, 95% of the time. And I love to keep it interactive and engaging. So I would love to ask people, why is it that you think we're operating out of that space?
Well, the word that's coming up for me, because it's been a theme throughout the day, is fear.
Mm-hmm.
We don't consciously make choices during the day.
Right.
We get into our rut and we're comfortable, even if it's uncomfortable. It's our rut. And so we stay.
Yeah.
Yes. Well put, Shae. It is out of fear. And Gail, you nailed it on right on the nail. It's because it's comfortable. The brain is designed to keep us comfortable.
Yep.
The brain is designed to so we can survive. Okay, it's survival of the fittest here. The brain is like, let's keep it congruent. Let's do the same thing every day. Let's be automatic. Let's be on autopilot. That way, there's no shock. There's no alarming to the body and to the mind. That's why it's so hard to build habits because you're going against the grain, right? You're going against what's the norm for you. And so forming habit become very difficult and you may start after a while, you just fall off the wagon. Now, we are on autopilot because we have been programmed. Do you believe that?
I do.
We've been programmed at a young age. So imagine from the, yes, Gail, that's it. From the age from 0 to about 5, 7 years old, our identity, who we are, has been formed. That's what makes this technique so powerful because I'm combining neuroscience, I'm combining neurology, and I'm combining psychology to actually couple this together and invented a new way to actually get fast and quick transformation. Not that talk therapy. I did it for over 10 years. I have my PhD in psychology. I for sure know about that, way too much about that. And the transformation is between the ages of 0 and let's say 2 years old, you were programmed to just download data. You had no say in what you receive and you rejected, right? You're just downloading new names, new family, new mom, new smiles, how to smile, how to mimic model faces. That's all you're doing, just dumping data from your society, from your environment, and you're just absorbing it at all. That's the programming that we get at that age. Now, we take it a step further. Our identity, and Dr. Lipton says it well, our identity is formed by the time we're 7 years old, due to all the programming, due to the stories that we've been told. And it's not anyone's fault. That's just families, right? That's how we're constructed. That's how we learn. We go to school, we're learning there. We're modeling the behaviors there from our peers. We are in the home, we're modeling what mom and dad does, because that's who we're watching. We're observing, we're absorbing and observing at the same time. So what happens is, this is detrimental, because what happens is we adapt some type of belief at that age, and it is directing our behaviors later on in life, and we're not even aware of it. And that's what I mean by when we're on autopilot. The thing becomes so automatic, it's repetitive, that we don't think about it. Like driving a car. Have you ever driven home and don't know how you got there once you arrive at your destination?
Such a good example.
It's so bizarre. But again, the subconscious mind is working continuously for you. Napoleon Hill says it, like you have to be give your subconscious mind something to do, especially at night, because it's forever working on your behalf. So when you're driving that car, you're on autopilot. So you take the turn, you didn't even think about it. So the brain kicks in to save you, to protect you, to make sure you get home safe. That is our brain's job. Now, these beliefs say we picked up at a young age. It could be, for example, a parent. We're at a grocery store and we picked up a toy, and a parent yelled at us and said, "Put that down." Now, as a 2-year-old or 3-year-old, what you interpret that as is, "I don't deserve this. I'm not worthy of this. I can't have this." And that one little incident can get stuck with you throughout life, because your beliefs become your thoughts, right? And your thoughts become your feelings. And we know what drives action. What drives action?
Feelings and emotions.
Yes.
Emotions, absolutely.
You gotta tap into your emotion to actually get up and do anything. So your feelings are now driving your actions. And at that state, you have a negative belief, right? Negative thought that says, "I don't deserve this. I'm not worthy of this." And so you're going to create self-sabotaging behaviors, actions, if you take any at all, right? Because inaction is an action. So what ends up happening, so at this action state, you're taking this action, it's negative. You give up before you start whatever the action may be, but that action is going to lead to your results. And I want to show you guys what I am referring to. Let's look at the thought loop. Do I have permission to share? I believe so. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, I am.
Let me know if I need to enlarge this a little bit more. Is this clear?
Yeah, it looks good. And I'm just checking on Facebook too. Yep, looks good.
So here is a negative belief loop, also known as a negative thought loop. Remember, we're talking about beliefs that's been set and ingrained and programmed in our mind from 0 to 7 years old. So you have this belief, "I am not enough. I don't deserve this. I'm not lovable." Or if a parent made you feel rejected in any way, then you have interpreted that as, "I am not enough. I'm not lovable. I'm not good enough." Well, here's what I was telling you. That belief, that thought is generating these feelings, the feelings of angry and sadness and bitter, and worst of all, helplessness. You're feeling hopeless. Feeling hopeless not empowered. So your behavior is going to be, I shy away from taking risk. I don't want to take any action. I don't want to do anything because I'm going to fail. And because of that, that behavior, then your result is I'm a failure. What I want is not available to me. You can't get with the results you're looking for. And what this result does, it reinforces the original belief. You see, I told you I'm not good enough. I told you I'm not lovable. See, I don't deserve this. And this is toxic because then you're just going around in a circle. And this is happening unconsciously. That's the dangerous part about it. Now, what do you imagine would happen if you had a positive belief loop? Chime in.
Courage, action, discernment.
Yeah.
It would go in the same cycle
Mm-hmm.
if you believed it. If you don't believe it, then you'll just sink your heels in to your previous negative beliefs.
Yeah, the inaction, like you said.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. And you'll be totally stuck. It's like, imagine you're trying to drive a car and your foot is on the accelerator and your foot's on the brake at the same time.
Right? Exactly.
And when you and I started working together, that was kind of the analogy that I gave you was I know the truth, but it's putting the truth into action. It's like that gear shift.
Yeah. And a lot of us get stuck. We don't know how to go to the deep root cause of it. A lot of us don't know what the deep root cause is to begin with. That's why I developed this method. That's why I developed this technique. Now, let's look at this positive belief loop here, right? You have a positive belief that, I am enough, I am lovable, which means you're capable and you're feeling empowered. So the feeling that comes with it is, I like myself. I like me. There was the Christmas movie, and I think it was train, buses, and planes. And the guy goes, I like me. And if you don't like me, that's okay. But I like me. So having that belief, that this confidence in yourself, in oneself, generates this feel good about you, that you're lovable, you love yourself, you respect yourself, and you think you're enough. And if you think you're enough, you can pay, you can ask for the right prices for your services in your business because now you think you're enough. You believe you deserve it, right? It's a domino effect that just affects every area of your life. Your relationships, you approach them differently when you know you are enough. Like you deserve the love that you have, that is coming to you, right? Now, this loop is going to generate your behaviors. What do you think those are? They're empowering. You're taking massive action. It's not a struggle. It's not like pulling teeth, to get up in the morning and actually do a stretch, say your gratitude. It's not pulling teeth to actually make those phone calls, right? So it's no longer a struggle. It comes naturally. And Shae can attest to this. The difference once you find the root cause, taking action is a byproduct now.
Mm-hmm. I love that word, massive action.
Take massive action. And because you're taking massive action, what happens? You're getting the results you desire. Your business is thriving. Your relationships are healthy. You're healthy. Your body's healthy because you're taking the steps towards being a healthy being, right? Now, you're achieving your results. You're getting success. And if you're successful, guess what happens? It feeds that original belief. Because I got those results. I am enough. I deserve it. I expected that. Like that is my birthright. That is the place we ought to be. But that's not where most of us are. Neither was I. As a young child, I got molested and I went and told my mother about it and she did not believe me. Imagine that, the trauma of being abused and then not being accepted and feeling abandoned. Imagine what my life would look like. Take a guess.
I would say that you would be feeling pretty worthless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not trusting your intuition, not knowing that it was wrong.
Right. Not trusting anyone.
Yeah.
No one got in, Gail. No joke about it. I did not trust myself. I did not trust others. It was
Yep.
hard to make friends, and I didn't deserve it. So it was hard to build my business. It was hard to ask the right prices for my services because I didn't think I was worthy of it. The trauma itself, it was just this nagging voice, right? That says, you are not enough. I am not enough. And because I am not enough, I didn't take action. Because I didn't take action, I didn't get the results that I want. And it feed right back to that loop. And it was negative and it was toxic. And I dealt with that for years. That's why I went to I studied psychology. And even after getting out of psychology, I realized something is still missing. Because I cannot just shut that voice down. Why is that? And that's why habit rewiring was born, is coupling the neuroscience, the psychology to actually get massive results. So what is habit rewiring?
I just want to say, I love how you touched on the aspect of how this is important to not just us as individuals, but it translates into our business and how we can charge prices, get what we're worth, build our business. Like it's all connected.
That's a lot of things that cripple us as business owners or even wanting to live to our full potential. It is the fact that we don't know how to get unstuck. We're going 40, especially high achievers who I work with, you're going 40 to 60 miles per hour when you really want to go 100 miles per hour. You really want to give 100% potential. You really want to play at that peak level and peak performance and consistently without being exhausted. Mentally, exhaustion is the worst. And that's because of all the negative habit thought loop that is going on up there. So habit rewiring is simply 3 techniques. The combination is going into the subconscious mind. And how I do that is actually putting you in a very relaxed state, almost like REM sleep, because there the subconscious mind is more suggestible. The subconscious mind is more open to actually reveal the reasons why, where these negative beliefs started. So what I do is D is for detect. We go in and detect where those has started. What conversation around you that began this process? That you are not enough, you're not worthy, you're not loved enough, and you don't belong. You don't deserve to be here. You're not a gift. The suicidal thoughts run rancid. I've been there. Now, with habit rewiring, we actually I put you in a very relaxed state, and we go into the subconscious mind to find out. Usually, it's between the ages of the 0 to 5 years old, and you're not aware of it now. But when you are in this relaxed state, this REM state, almost like half asleep and super relaxed, it comes up. The mind is so brilliant because it knows it created the coping mechanism. And so some coping mechanism is alcohol, numbing down the pain, right? Some coping mechanism is I am the way I am. That's just it. We say that to ourselves. This is who I am. Coping mechanism that is the brain's way of trying to get you to just survive. Are you tired of just surviving?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So how can you thrive? You want to thrive in business. You want to thrive in your relationship. You want to thrive in 2021, right? Starting strong. This is why we're here. This is what the energy is this year. Now we go in and we detect what and when something had happened that gave you this belief that is stuck with you. And it's very precise. It's just going back to one scene when you were like 3 years old. And it's like, where are you? Who's with you? What are you seeing? And most importantly, what are you experiencing? the brain is so brilliant, it will take you back to that scene. It will take you back to actually show you where this has started that actually keeps you stuck the rest of your life. Once we detect that, once we find it, we've investigated, we came up with it, now it's time to interrupt that pattern. Now that's what the I stands for, interruption. We interrupt the pattern of that negative talk, negative thought, and I like to call it ants. We all have ants, automatic negative thoughts. We all have them. Some of us, it's to what degree? Is it crippling us, keeping us stagnant, keeping it at a certain level where we can't go to higher performance? So we interrupt this pattern. We recognize that's when it started. That's why it started, especially if you were on this earth for very, very few years and something traumatic happened. And it really, the brain knows if this happens again, I'm going to protect you from it. So let's build these walls. Let's build these things around you so you're protected. And so we go through life really with these barriers, holding us and keeping us down. So once we interrupt that pattern, now the step is for rewiring. And the rewiring piece of it is where we instill new beliefs. We instill new beliefs so that you now have a new identity. Because those old beliefs were your identity. They were formed without your permission. That's the same thing with habits. Habits are formed without permission because they're designed to solve your problem. They're designed to solve a problem for you. And so rewiring is instilling a now new identity. So if an identity, I formed that identity and you guys nailed it on the nail, that I wasn't enough, I wasn't worthy because I was molested and I was abandoned and all that stuff happened. What would be, in your own words, a new identity for me now after I've reinstalled new beliefs?
I am worthy.
Yeah.
I deserve success.
I have trust.
Yeah. I'm capable. I'm possible. I can do this.
I'm safe.
I am safe. As children, we want to be safe. As children, we want our parents, we want their attention and their admiration. And if we don't get it, it's not even their fault. It's unconscious. But we get coded. We get programmed because of that. And so as the beautiful, healthy adults we are, it is our job to detect what they are, to actually start interrupting the pattern, and then reinstilling with new beliefs. And the way it is we rewire the brain is, if you guessed it, is by repetition. We're habitual creatures. There is no doubt about that. That is the only way you're going to learn something new, is by the repetition process of it. And so with rewiring the brain, what we do is we actually record powerful, imaginative words to reinstill, to bring back the confidence that is tailored specifically to you. Because if you recall, we have gone in and found the reasons and exactly where and when this thing started. So we now have to change the interpretation we give it. We change the meaning that is now attached to this incident or to this event that took place in our life. And when we have that understanding, it's powerful because it's liberating. A lot of us were just kind of in the blind, feeling our way around, wondering why we're hitting brick walls every time because we don't know what is keeping us stuck. So once we do identify, once we do find it, we understand why it came into play, that it was for our own good, because everything that happens is usually to protect us, right? Now we interrupt that pattern, we smash it, we eradicate it, and then we instill it with new powerful words, new powerful affirmations. And for me is, I am safe now. And we do a really a good technique where we upgrade the child. We upgrade the child to the life that you have now, because you no longer should feel threatened. You no longer should feel rejected. You understand? You no longer should feel like you're not lovable anymore, because you're not that child anymore. You're not 3 years old anymore. And that's the power of understanding. It's not who you are anymore, because I am a loving adult, because I've built a gorgeous life around. It's because I've been able to transform into this beautiful butterfly. I'm not that duck anymore. I'm not this person anymore. So upgrading the child is very powerful, and I'd love, Shay, for you to chime in on your experience with that, with upgrading the child into your life, into your world, and what it felt like for you.
Yeah, and that's such a great way to describe it, because for such a long time, the voice in my head was that small, scared child who had had these experiences. And all of a sudden, now there was this very adult person who could just, and then I still hear your voice in my head sometimes when that cycle starts to happen. I hear you tune in, which then triggers me to stop the thought pattern. Yeah, it's so interesting, that the shift that I've felt. um, yeah, it's just it's like learning a new language. Like, you've had this other language for such a long time, and now you're learning a new language and this new operating system.
Yeah, the stories that we tell ourselves
Mhm.
that we're not aware of, we're not cognizant of. We, my only story was I was damaged good. I was abused, therefore I'm not good to anyone. I'm not worthy to give. I don't have a gift. I can't offer the world anything.
Yeah.
I'm not good enough. And so we have to learn to change that story, because it's there. And habit rewiring allow you to find that story. And once you do or become aware of it, then you can start changing and interrupting it. And the recording is tailored and specific to you, and you listen to it for 21 days. And it's really rapid transformation, because after the first session you feel so much weight, load off your shoulders that you've been carrying around all these years.
Yeah, it is a somatic experience. The weight, I literally feel lighter, and the weight has been lifted. Yeah.
Because now you have understanding, and understanding is power. And it's not anything that you have to do at all. There's no hard work. There's no the brain hates when you throw anything at it abruptly. So there's none of that happening. All you're doing is actually listening, rewiring your brain, listening to that recording over and over again. And it's the subconscious mind is picking it up, because it's like an old tape. The only way if you have a scratch tape, or you think of a CD and it's scratched, the only way to actually remove those old thoughts is to replace them with better ones. It's to replace them with a different story. Like Shae said, very lovely, it's to replace it with a different language, with a different dialogue. We have over 60,000 thoughts a day. Not shocking. Over 60,000 thoughts a day. And you know what's bizarre? 90% of those thoughts are negative. I don't care who you are, they're negative. Jeff Bezos has negative thoughts. He has ants, automatic negative thoughts. Mark Zuckerberg has ants, automatic negative thoughts. But the difference is, right, is once you, as a high performance, as I identify what they are and you found your purpose, you no longer give them meaning. You no longer give them weight and value, because that's what they are. They have their whole value right now. And so they're meaningful. You're holding on to them. But if you can swap them out for better stories that says, I am powerful, I am capable, I will be the best at my work in this industry, I shine. Like for me, communication was a big thing. And it really was, I'm a great communicator. And after a while, your thoughts become things. You become your reality. You become your thoughts. Your out who you are right now are the results of your thoughts and your habits, right? And if you want different results, you have to have different thoughts. You have to have more positive thoughts, more empowering thoughts.
One
And
of the,
this will in turn lead to a more empowering habit.
one of the things that we were talking about earlier was about the polyvagal theory and how it relates to the law of attraction and the law of abundance and getting out of that scarcity mindset. Um, I think this speaks to this so much is there might even be a little bit of a fear to listen to that new voice, but it's once you can flick that switch through this type of technique, you can start to get into that flow so much more.
Yes, 100%. And it's instant. After just that first session, you feel and see the result. You're thinking differently. And it's really powerful because you can now feel like you're getting back in control. Your thoughts, your life is not running away with you. You're feeling grounded. And the piece about habit is you instill this new identity and then we build the new habits, because the new habits and the new actions, the new behavior is a byproduct of what? Your identity, your personality. If your beliefs are not congruent with your actions, if you could say you're one thing till you're blue in the face, but if it's not a belief, like Gail say, you don't truly believe it, it's not ingrained, then you are just hitting your head against a wall. You might as well put an arrow there and says bang head here. And we navigate life banging our heads against walls because we don't tap into finding the root cause of the reason why we're behaving the way we are. The root cause of why we think the way we do. We all have negative thoughts, as I said before. But if you start to replace them, then they're no longer you identified you with you as your identity. Isn't this powerful?
It's wonderful.
I get super excited every time I get an opportunity to talk about it because I'm I'm a habit therapist, right? I'm a habit psychologist. I have a podcast. It's called The Best Morning Routine Ever. And this started because I started talking to successful entrepreneurs, over 3,000 of them now, just collecting data, collecting research, right? I was like, how do you get up, dress up, and show up? How do you show up in your life? What makes you so successful? And a lot of people, a lot of the entrepreneurs just talk about how their morning routine contribute to their success.
Mm.
Those healthy habits. You first build your habit, and it's like pushing pushing a car uphill, but it gets to a point where it becomes habitual, where your habits make you, which means you don't think about it anymore. So now autopilot is working in your favor. Now you don't have to think twice about hydrating first thing in the morning. Now you don't think twice about meditating or saying your gratitude, three things you're grateful for in the morning. It's so easy now. It's habitual. Your mind is reprogrammed to do that. And if you instill those positive habits, you're gonna get the results you need, and desire.
So Dr. Lunide, I know that we're talking about people in that professional capacity, the high performance, but I want to touch on something you started to maybe allude to, or maybe I just read into it because it was on my mind, but I think of people who are struggling with things like substance abuse and some, maybe habits that are self-harming. And I wonder how this kind of work can help people, because that does seem to be, I don't want to call it an emerging trend, because alcoholism and drug abuse and even anxiety and depression and some of those things that people are really struggling with right now coming out of COVID. I don't know if you have some thoughts on how this works, because getting into the root cause, I think is where the question comes from.
Yeah. So the root cause for addiction and anxiety
Yeah.
and depression,
Yeah.
most likely, it's feeding into that emotion, that the things that make you anxious, that makes you depressed, because that's a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
It helps you stay afloat. So the the switch is to not to change the habit or the coping mechanism that is already instilled. So with addiction, with alcohol, and I did some work with some people, is it really is going in to find out what you're trying to replace with those habits. It's the inability to actually face our own selves, to face our own thoughts. It's too scary up there, and not wanting to do the deep work, and that's why it's hard to do it yourself.
Yeah, that's something that we've talked a lot about today too, is having the support, the mastermind, the conduit to be there. Yes.
The accountability.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah, the accountability to see it and navigate through it. That's why it's important. And also you learn new skills along the way, because you don't want to keep banging your head against that wall and doing it yourself, when you can actually leverage on somebody else's skill set to get you there faster. What can take you a year, you can actually work with someone and you get the results in a matter of weeks or a matter of months, saving you time. I love that question, Shae. I would love to open it up for more questions and thoughts around that.
Yeah, I mean, substance abuse has definitely been in my family for multiple generations. And I've just seen so many family members struggle with that. And, as I've done my own work and I've gone through yoga therapy training and trauma-informed yoga, and, I just see that there's so many underlying deeper issues that are causing these substance abuse issues. And I just feel like something like this could be so effective, um, to get to that root cause, because there's
Mm-hmm.
that little voice there saying, don't deal with this right now, let's have a beer, or but if you can get down to that voice and start to shift the voice, I feel like it would be so powerful.
Yeah, because a lot of people, again, back to that identity, as identify themselves as I'm a drinker, I'm an alcoholic. This is me. This is the only story that I know. And so once we get to actually the root cause and begin to rewire, and I had a client that with weight loss and just bad eating, talking about addiction, right? Food can be addicting.
Oh yeah.
We eat for comfort. Is we call comfort eaters, right? Because it's almost like trying to stuff and bury the emotion that's coming up, and we don't want to deal with it. And same thing with alcoholism. And I was a heavy drinker too, because you can imagine I wanted to numb my pain.
Yeah.
And not inability to express myself, I wanted to numb it down. And I had one client where we went in one session and actually identify when the negative eating started happening, is because as a child she felt like she didn't have a voice. So instead she would just eat, and then that continued through adulthood, not being able have the confidence to express herself. And so she just resorted to food. And after we got through that session and saw how it all started and began interrupting that pattern, she said when she left the session, she just felt like she had a different relationship with food. You see?
Yeah.
The meaning has changed for her. She didn't feel she needs to eat to scuffle and stuff down emotions anymore. It was just, I'm gonna eat enough to satisfy, satiate a hunger, and when I'm done, I'm done. And she didn't do anything extra. It was just that belief, because again, that the belief is triggering your feelings.
Mm.
And those feelings again are triggering your action. So I'm gonna binge eat because I don't, I can't cope. But there's anger, I'm frustrated, and I don't know how to deal with this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to eat. That feeling then changed the action. If that feeling is, I recognize this is happening, what are the alternatives? Oh, but if your brain is being rewired, that feeling is no longer negative.
Mm.
It's that sense of awareness, and then you take a different action. So she said she did not have a desire to reach for the pasta, to reach for the burger anymore, because those were her go-to.
Mm.
That's what happened when you change on a cellular level.
Yeah.
That's what happened when you change on a in a subconscious level. We're not, it's not a band-aid anymore over the problem. We're actually, it's not medication anymore. We're not treating symptoms anymore.
Yeah.
We're finding what really is the big problem underneath it. What's the root cause of this behavior, of this habit? And why is it so hard to break it?
The other two things that are coming up as you're talking, and this has come up throughout the summit so far, is this aspect of self-compassion and this aspect of being able to name it. It's so easy to just bury stuff and not name it and just continue to bury it. But once you can name it and then have compassion for it, that's just so powerful, part of the healing process as well.
It is. And I think a big piece of it is compassion towards self.
Yeah.
When we fall off the wagon, when we say we're gonna, I have 10 resolutions and I did one, I'm like, oh, it's so stupid. I knew I couldn't do it. This is terrible.
Mm.
We ought to start talking to ourselves as if we're talking to a loved one,
Mm. Yeah.
as if we're talking to a lover. Imagine a loved one, a daughter, a child, or a son, or talking to a husband. Imagine what you would say to them if they failed, if they messed up. It's not even failure. It's like, oh, I screwed up. All right, I missed one day.
Mm.
It's not, you made it so monumental. You missed one day, you felt like the whole year's over.
Yeah.
Catastrophic. You just made it, it's just a mountaintop now. But imagine if you were to show compassion towards yourself, to show that compassion toward that love towards yourself, and says, you know what, it's a doozy. Okay, no
Yeah.
biggie. That's fine. I recognize that I made a mistake. I failed. We'll pick it up tomorrow. It's better to skip one day than to skip 2 days. But if we don't have that self love to begin with, that self compassion, it's hard.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
It's hard to do, and that's the root cause of it, because a lot of us are walking around where we don't like ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I loved what you said earlier is I like me. Yeah.
There's I had to do tons and tons of mirror work. I had to get up and says, Lunide, I love you. Lunide, I forgive you. And that's what I want to, the takeaway that I want to leave with everyone today is just that, going to on that note of self-compassion. My mirror work consists of every day, Lunide, I love you. Lunide, I forgive you. Lunide, I choose you. Because remember, I wasn't chosen. I was abandoned, I was neglected, and I was abused. And so those three words were very vital for me in building my confidence again. Now it's repetition. I don't have to say it, but now that's because it's been reprogrammed. It's replaced the old saying that was in my head. So now I walk taller with my head up higher. I show up in my life with confidence. But mirror work is phenomenal. It's because it's the same thing with the recording that you get to listen for 21 days. After listening into it, you don't do any work. It's just you become this new person because you've been reprogrammed. So it's really powerful, that self-love, that self-care. That's what I believe this program gives you back.
Yeah, exactly. Because it like opens up the window
Yeah.
rather than beating yourself up and giving yourself those labels. Oh, I've just always been like this. I'm always going to be like this. Now it's like you see the roots, like, oh, wow, this is why. And I know when we were working together, going to those isolated incidents is such a big part of it. Um, and I think
Doing it safely, because you were not cognizant. It wasn't on your frontal cortex. You weren't thinking about that stuff.
yeah,
It was driving your behavior though.
yeah. And it was hard to have compassion because it's like, oh, I just keep making these same mistakes or having these same thoughts and just running into those same walls again. And finally I can be like, no, it so it helped create more self-compassion.
Well said. Absolutely. Any other thoughts, questions that I may answer?
And just so you know, I've been putting links on the Facebook group to your website and your podcast and all of that, because they're just so rich and I know people are going to want to check them out. So
yeah, the morning routine. The morning routine is a byproduct. Setting up the morning routine is crucial. And I didn't even get to tap into that because I wanted to touch in the habitual piece of it, the habits behind why we behave the way we do, and how we can change those dialogue, that language that we're speaking to ourselves on a daily basis.
The inability to actually face our own self.
sorry.
Yeah. And so the morning routine, I was saying with the podcast, I found that there were repeatable actions that successful entrepreneurs take. Would you like to hear some of those?
I know I would.
Yes. Yes, Gail, hand up. Is that, yes, that's a finger. Okay, so let's talk about habits and morning routines and what's negotiable and what should be non-negotiable. And because I've had thousands of guests come on the show, and they were, me being the scientific kind of gal that I am, I was like, ooh, there's correlations here. There are things that are coming up over and over again, and people are doing it and they're getting the same results. So I have to put an app together. So I did. I put an app together with the 9 actionable items that entrepreneurs are doing that are giving them massive success. And it's phenomenal, and you won't believe it. I'm going to walk you through this because, again, I'm so passionate about this because it changed my life. And I know the successful entrepreneurs who are thriving, that it's the reason they're so successful. And one of the first habit that entrepreneurs speak of is hydrating first thing in the morning. Yep. Drinking a glass of water upon rising has tons and tons of benefits, because for 6 to 8 hours, you have been at a fasted state. You literally have been asleep and you haven't eaten and you haven't drank anything. And the brain is what, 73+% water. So imagine when you wake up in the morning and you're parched, you're dehydrated, you're thirsty. What are some of the symptoms?
Energy.
Energy levels down, but also brain fog.
I was going to say brain fog. Yeah.
Brain fog is the number one reason why you're dehydrated when you're brain fogged. And drinking a glass of water will actually alleviate that, and it gives you that, it kicks your metabolism as well. It helps with weight loss. Why? Because you're releasing toxic. There were toxic build up overnight as you were asleep, and drinking water first thing in the morning help release those toxins out of your system. And also start kick gear your metabolism. It's powerful. Just drinking water. How simple is that? Now, how do you do it? The simplest way to do it, Gail, you want to say something?
I was going to say, I warm up my water in the morning. I don't want my first glass of water to be cold.
It shouldn't be cold.
I don't make it hot. I just warm it up.
Room temperature. It's easier for the body to digest. Very good point, Gail. And also, you don't want to shock the body. You're just waking up, right? You're not warmed up yet. You still got, things in your eyes. You're barely alert and barely awake, especially if you have dogs. They come in, and cats and animals, they're like, wake up, where I need you up. And so you do not want to shock the body with cold fluid. So it has to be room temperature. And so the easiest technique is actually prepping for the morning routine the night before. And how do you do that? You simply set your water by your nightstand. Put it on your nightstand so that it's there. When you get up, you just reach for it. You don't have to get to give yourself that extra work, because the way you don't build a habit is to eradicate a habit, is to create friction between you and that habit. And if the water is in another room, if the water is already cold, if the water is in the fridge and you have to get up and go find it, you're not gonna drink the water, because you didn't create enough friction between you and that habit. You have to make it super simple, super easy for you, because you gotta environment. One point I'm getting at, guys, is that environment plays a key role in building new habits. You have to prime your environment for the habit that you want to instill or to create. Here's another example. Exercising, stretching, getting up in the morning, doing yoga, moving the body. Again, you've been stagnant, you've been laying there. You need to move, and the fastest way to change your emotion is what? Is how?
Change your physical state.
Amen. I'm giving Gail A+.
We studied the same things.
Okay. Move the body. Get at peak state. And it's simply as just like scoring, yes, just like waking up and stretching.
Mm-hmm.
Gets the blood flow going. If I can't get a workout in for the first half hour of my day, I do like 5 push-ups. The heart rate is up. Therefore, it's giving you energy already. Exercising gives you energy. So with the night before,
I love that you say that, because, and I even find myself getting caught in this trap sometimes. It's like, oh, I'm going to do yoga. It's got to be for an hour. I'm going to go for a walk or a run. It's got to be, but it could just be 5 minutes. Like, give yourself a little break.
That's it.
They'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Compassion. Now, don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah.
And when you reward those moments, you're building this trust between yourself, because you said, okay, I gave you a reward, then the mind is going to deliver for you next time. But you're building trust between yourself, because you're being accountable to yourself. You're not letting yourself down. That's what happened. That's what kills our confidence, is we say we're going to do something and we don't do it. Imagine having a friend that you made plans with and you never follow through.
That is such a great example. And it goes back to the accountability, which you talked about. I wonder if you...
Would you still have a friend?
No.
No.
I wonder what suggestions you might have for people, because accountability, what are some accountability tools that you might suggest for people? Things like the app. It looks like I just downloaded your app. Actually, I didn't know that you had that. Is it like a daily checklist?
Yeah, you check it, and it's designed. You can do it in 1 minute. You can do each action for 1 minute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Doing something is better than doing nothing at all. So hydrating takes 30 seconds. Getting your heart rate up, it can take you 1 minute to do. So it's designed to make it super easy, starting small and then build on it. Mm-hmm. Because that's how habits are built or created. You gotta gradually build it. And in terms of getting started, don't try to do it alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're not meant to be independent. We're designed to be codependent.
We were talking about that earlier. You know, how our whole the way humans came into the world was in tribe. Yeah.
And we're most fulfilled and most find out purpose when we are surrounded by others, but also having that healthy relationship. You don't want to be dependent on somebody. You don't want to be independent where you need nobody. That was me. I was independent. I didn't need anybody. That's why it took me so long to get married.
Yep.
I didn't need a man.
Yeah.
A man hurt me. Why would I go back to that? Are you crazy? Walls, protection. The mind build them to protect you.
Mm.
But there are healthy ways to break down those walls and rebuild stronger and more fulfilling ones. And accountability plays a big role.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to do it alone. We were designed to be codependent, to help one another thrive, to help one another succeed. And so there are tools, there are things put in place that you can set, you can prime yourself in the day to it's an armor you put around you so that you take care of yourself in the morning. And it's done in the morning because you're more and most suggestible in the morning because you're between theta and alpha state. You're half asleep, you can receive suggestion easier. That's why affirmations work well in the morning. Oprah Winfrey, wake up at 4:30 to meditate. Warren Buffett, to read at 4:30. The Rock, to exercise. There is power in doing things in the morning. Now, your morning may vary from mine. I'm up at 4:30. This morning it was 3:30 because I feel like I'm running out of daylight and I have so much work to do. So
I know that.
But you know that feeling. That was your whole week. I understand it thoroughly. Your morning may look different because there is the power of when, because your chronotype is very different. Your circadian clock is very different. And that's one thing I work with my clients with. We identify how to work with your body versus against your body. You may not get up at 4:30 like I do. You may get up at 6, 7 o'clock. But whenever your mornings start, there are things you should do to prime yourself for the day. Because when you take care of yourself, you're ready for whatever the day has to throw your way. But also, it comes back to that self-love, self-care, because you're putting yourself first. You adore yourself, you love yourself, you deserve it, you are worthy of it, so you initiate it first before you let the world in, before you take care of anybody else. Why do you think when we're flying in the airplane, they tell us to put on our mask on first? If you're dead, you can't help anyone else put their mask on.
Such a great example. Yeah.
We don't have that compassion towards ourselves to actually say, tomorrow morning I'm going to get up and hydrate and actually do 2 minutes of something to get my heart rate up, or I'm going to read for 5 minutes because it's going to help me throughout the day. Put yourself first. It's not selfish. You deserve it. You're worthy of it.
Well, I think that is a fabulous way to end this. I mean, we could talk about this for forever. It's such a rich conversation, but I want to be mindful of your time. Oh, gosh, thank you so much for being here, Dr. Lunide. It was amazing.
It was my absolute pleasure. Thank you for participating. Laura, it was nice to see you. Gail, again, it's...
Dr. Louis, I do have a quick question for you before you go.
Yeah.
So I lived in San Diego for 15 years and have friends there, and do plan, when COVID allows, to come back and visit. Can I look you up and say hi?
Yes.
I'm going with her as well.
Okay, come with me. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. I would appreciate and love that. And please do connect with me.
I will. I already have sent you a LinkedIn request.
Please do time around here.
Can you hear me? Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, we can hear you, Laura.
Yes.
Super. So the morning routine, I love the hydrate, move your body. I do as best I can the 3 things I'm grateful for and setting the intention. What were the other? Can you give us the other things that they were doing?
Yes, Laura, I love that.
Yes. For that,
the app is called HitSavers, and it's each acronym is a habit. And so we have hydration. First thing, you gotta hydrate. We have I am grateful for. 3 things that you're grateful for in the morning. And for me, it's really, I'm grateful that my arm is working. I have feeling in it. So simple. It's so simple. Thank you for my bladder's working. It's functioning. So that's I am grateful for. And then tea is my favorite because you don't have to do much. It's time's up. Get your butt out of bed and make it. Make your bed.
Mm.
Make your bed.
You,
Yep.
you said that in your story, even like that was one of the first things that you started to do is you got up and you made your bed. And then you
Yep.
did a 10-minute run and you just slowly started adding these on.
It's productivity. It's your first action of productivity because in the morning, the one thing talks about the willpower. Willpower is at its best in the morning, and so we want to leverage and do the creativity things in the morning and not think about the mundane stuff like what to wear. Prepare your clothes the night before. Again, morning routine stuff the night before. So that's one less thing for you to worry about. So make your bed is one of them because it breeds more productivity. You accomplish your first task. It's so simple. And try it tomorrow, Laura. You'll see you'll have more energy throughout the day and you want to do more. You want to accomplish more. That's just the way the habits work. And for the savers is intentional silence. S. Practice intentional silence. Now, I'm not asking you to go meditate. Again, we're starting slow, you're gradually building, but actually sit in silence for 1 minute. Just take a couple of deep breaths for 1 minute. Intentional silence.
Mm-hmm.
And the app does guide you through that to take that silence. So then you build on meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Meditation is not quieting the mind because we are chattered. We have ants, we have thoughts, they're coming and going. It's just a matter of recognizing them, acknowledging them, and letting it go. The most important word in my life is let it go. Let it go.
The other thing too that I talk with clients about is just the aspect of concentration, like teaching your mind to just focus on one thing.
Yeah.
It is so prone, like you said, 60,000 thoughts a day.
90%.
1 minute on your breath.
And you know what, Shae? We never learned how to focus in school. They taught us how to do math. They taught us how to read, but nobody taught us to focus. They always telling us to do it, but
Yeah.
no one sat us down and showed us how to focus.
Yep.
Why do we have so many issues with it these days? Because we never learned how to do it.
Yep.
No one taught us how to do it. And then they tell us to go meditate, and we don't know how to navigate that world either. It's messy. Intentional silence. Learn to sit with yourself. A lot of us, we run away from our own thoughts. We run away from ourselves. Just 1 minute in silence.
Yeah, it's so powerful.
It's tremendous. And then you'll figure it out from there. It will build because the mind is there to give you what you need as you grow. Trust it. Trust the process, right? So we have intentional silence. And then the next one is affirmations. Remember, we're suggestible. We're highly suggestible. We are living the life we are now because of what somebody said, someone said, and is feeding us, and we took it upon ourselves. It becomes who we are. Now, if we change that script, change that story with simple affirmation. If you recall, I did a lot of mirror work when I started this process 10 years ago. Lunide, I love you. Lunide, I forgive you. Lunide, I choose you. Things I didn't hear when I was growing up, but now I can give it to myself freely. Isn't that wonderful? So I had those affirmations for myself. Affirmations. You want to pick one and just kind of say it out loud once or twice, and then you're good. Because your thoughts become things. You will become that.
Yeah, thoughts are things, as Sue Ellen Sweeney would say.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's visioneering, and that's just like writing out what you want to, 3 things you want to work out for today. Visioneering. You're envisioning what you want to work on for today. Just 3. List 3 things you want to work out, and then picture yourself at the end of the day checking those off. That's tying an emotion to something that hasn't happened again. Remember what I said about feelings drive our behaviors? And so if you already picture yourself checking it off at the end of the day, then you're going to be more motivated to execute. Visioneering. And then from there, it's exercising, whatever that you want to do. However you want to move your body. I keep it short and sweet and get my heart rate up. Doing 2 jumping jacks, that's good enough, Laura. Just doing 2 jumping jacks in the morning. Because then you want to build on it. You don't want to do too much at once. And then read. Warren Buffett gets up at 4:30 in the morning to read. He says, I sit around in my office all day and read. That's all he does. It's Warren Buffett, y'all. Read. The app has a timer. You can read something powerful for 1 minute, read a quote, anything to stimulate the mind.
Yeah.
1 minute to 10 minutes, do something, read something, because you're in a development phase. You're growing, so you want to bring new information into your repertoire. So read something interesting.
I don't know how you feel about this, but I would read something like Thich Nhat Hanh, or I wouldn't open up your phone and go to like Google News, because I feel like we're so inundated with, you know,
Mhm.
if you go to YouTube, you don't know what video is going to come up. What if
Right.
you're intentional about what you're going to read about?
Even if you have a physical book, or you just go straight to the Kindle app.
Yeah.
Or you do audiobook. For me, I do audiobook because I like to multitask. I will run and listen to an audiobook at the same time. So I'm killing two birds with one stone.
And you know, what's his name? Not Power Habits. What's his
Atomic Habits.
Atomic Habits. He talks about that, how you can
James
build
Clear.
habits by combining them. So
Habit stacking. That is called habit stacking, is what you're referring to, Shae. Yeah, you stack your new habit with the habit you're already doing.
Mm-hmm.
And that reinforce it, makes it easier for you to be able to successfully do the new habit.
Yeah.
And so that's a good example. If you want to read, you're already running, put an audiobook. That's habit. You're stacking the reading onto the running activity. And then the last one, my favorite, brace yourself, guys. It's take a cold shower. Make the last 60 seconds. Gail, don't you give me that. You've been with me this whole time. Stay with me.
Not cold, not cold.
last 10 to 30 seconds of your shower, make it ice cold. Just turn off the hot water altogether. Two things happen. You're learning to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. How many times do you need that throughout the day?
Yeah.
Always.
Yep.
Because we are holistic, mind, body, and soul, mind, body, and spirit. The body, if you train the body, it will actually be congruent with the mind. It will help rewire the mind because the body's comfortable with it. The mind is no longer feeling threat by the cold water. See where I'm going with this?
Okay, I'll do it.
Yeah. San Diego, Gail.
30 to 60 seconds. Just turn off the hot water, make it, and in the process, because Tony Robbins does this every morning. He dunks himself in ice cold water, but he does a deep breathing with it. When cold water shocks your body, you're automatically, what happened? You start breathing from the diaphragm.
Mm-hmm.
Habit stacking. There's your meditation in the shower, because then you're taking that deep breath.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it helps with weight loss. It helps with energizing your body, making you feel more alert and increase focus. This is the science behind it.
Amazing.
Those are the things entrepreneurs are doing on a daily basis to have thriving multi-million-dollar businesses.
Yeah, I was listening to somebody just recently who talks about taking a cold shower on purpose every day and the benefits he gets mentally from it.
Yes. You got to understand, you're not going to wake up 100%. It's just like eating. You have to eat every day because it fuels your body. It gives you that energy. Well, the habits, the morning routine is your daily fuel. Your daily dosage. Can you imagine going without food for 3 days? You can survive. Can you imagine going without water for 3 days? You cannot survive.
Mm-hmm.
So why do you think you should not have a ritual to combat everything else that comes at you throughout the day?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why wouldn't you be intentional about that?
So good.
Yeah. So, and I'll talk about the 75 hard that I'm doing. Have you ever heard, Dr. Louis, about 75 hard?
No, please enlighten me.
So for 75 days, and if you skip a day, you have to go back to day one, by the way. I have to exercise, or I get to exercise inside for 45 minutes every day. I get to exercise no matter what the weather is outside for 45 minutes every day. I get to drink a gallon of water every day. I get to read a book that is a self-development book, 10 pages every day. I get to not drink any alcohol for 75 days. And I get to be on a healthy meal plan for 75 days. I'm on day 67.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Gail.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it's gonna be very hard to go back to those things because the
I'm not going to
habits
go back
like
to a lot. No, I'm not going to give up the exercise. I'll reduce the water. A gallon is too much for me. I have a hard time, though I finished it today. So, you know, but the exercise, especially outdoors, and I've been out in the snow, in the pouring rain, in the freezing cold. I feel so good when I'm done.
yeah. And the
Yeah.
confidence that you have because you're following through with yourself.
Well,
One,
I expect my clients to have integrity and to commit. So I guess I need to too, right?
Yeah, be that role model.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. 75 days.
It's awesome. And it's a mind game. It's not a physical game. It's getting up in the morning and fitting this stuff into your day and not having any excuses to why I didn't do it today. Right.
Right. Because it's 90% mindset, 20%
Right.
techniques.
And I did it through Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New
10%.
Year's. So anyway, so the point being what you're talking about, I'm like, well, I could easily slip into this routine when I'm done.
Yeah.
Right. I could easily do this. It would be very, just taking what I'm doing now and tweaking it a little bit. So that's cool. Thank you for sharing.
My pleasure. And it takes you to 100% peak performance and it sustains you. It keeps you there.
Yeah.
This has been powerful. I really, really love the opportunity to be here with you all. Lisa, Deborah, Natalie, Laura, Gail.
And everyone on Facebook who can't talk to us.
Everyone on Facebook. I cannot wait to see this later.
Liking and yeah. Of course, you know, as I've done with all our speakers, I want to honor Dr. Lunide and her time and wisdom and the gift that she is offering the world with this amazing work and for being here in community with us and helping us close out day 3 of Start Strong. I'm so grateful for you that the world brought us together.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So I want to let everyone know I do have a exclusive gift that I want to give everyone. So I'm going to, Shae, send you actually a habit rewiring recording for success, abundance, and business growth.
Oh, awesome.
Who doesn't want that?
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm sending that over to you so you can have that and start listening and you just watch it work just by listening and reprogramming the subconscious mind for success, rewiring it for growth. Just watch it work. And anyone that connects with me and want to work, there is a discount for the program that I offer that I will absolutely honor if you tell me that you're reaching out from Shae to start strong.
Good. And I highly recommend it.
It's fast. It's rapid transformation. It's fast. You want to see results next week? Get on a call with me tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's guaranteed and it's money back. So it's really, really like I back it, science backed it. Shae went through it and all the clients went through it. So please do get in contact. My website is lunidelouis.com and everything is on there.